The Titans have signed linebacker Cody Barton. What does he bring to the team? We're going to break it all down now in this another second of the day emergency pod for the Music City Audible. Let's get to it. Oh, welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Broadway Sports Media in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me as always, Justin Melo. And Justin, today we're talking about the newest Titans signing announced about 20 minutes ago, linebacker Cody Barton, who has spent his career on a few different teams, played 4 years with Seattle, a year with Washington, last year was in Denver, now lands in Tennessee on a 3-year, $21 million deal. Quick mental math, I'm very smart. I can tell you that amounts to an average annual salary of $7 million. Justin, what do we know about Cody Barton?
It's about the same average salary they gave Kenneth Murray last offseason, right? Right around 7. Murray got a bit more, but I think this is the type of signing we probably should have expected from Mike Borgonzi. Like when he talked about not breaking the bank in free agency, acquiring experienced veteran leaders, glue guys, culture guys, locker room guys. This strikes me as that kind of signing. I'm going to exchange some texts with Cody Barton's agent after this and get a feel about the kind of guy he is. Got a pretty good idea what he's going to tell me, though. This is a guy who's had 100 tackles, at least 100 tackles in 3 straight years, even though he's played for 3 different teams in the past 3 years, now going to be on his 4th, right? Seattle in 2022, Washington in 2023 with Ron Rivera. Titans running back coach Randy Jordan was on that staff. Don't know how much that matters, but Denver in 2024 and now the Titans in 2025. Again, I think this is a signing you probably can't fully assess if you don't know about Cody Barton, the person. I get the feel that this is his. Was it Anthony Fasano or Sal Fasano, the signing he kept talking about, Borgonzi, when he first got the job, about getting a culture room leader, glue guy? I feel like this is that for Mike Borgonzi this year. And that's important. They need to continue resetting the culture, get rid of the stink that's been in the locker room the last couple of years. I think you know where I'm going with this, but I do have some concerns on the field. Now, Barton, look, 100 tackles, 3 straight years, as I said, but I'll throw it back to you first.
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you said this is the type of signing that I think the Dan Moore signing that we already reacted to, the over $20 million average annual salary, is the outlier for when we're finished with this free agency class. We'll look at that as the outlier. Maybe they go after Javon Holland. There's some reports that they're interested in Javon Holland, and other reports that his market is upwards of $15 million a year. We'll see if the Titans are in on that kind of number. But there was also a report this morning the Titans were interested in Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw signing with the Broncos for a lot more money than Cody Barton got. In fact,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Dre Greenlaw got a 4-year, $65 million contract with $40 million guaranteed. So Greenlaw's guarantees are almost double the entire value of Cody Barton's contract here. I don't think the Titans. Yes, well, he is a great linebacker, but my point is the Titans may have been interested in Dre Greenlaw, but they were never going to a $40 million guaranteed type of number for a linebacker here. We mentioned this on the free agency preview episode, but Brian Callahan said to somewhere that Jim Wyatt reported that he said, we still need to find a linebacker to start next to Kenneth. So we knew sort of from that comment the Titans would be bringing back Kenneth Murray. We can assume based on the contract here that Cody Barton is being brought in to be the starter next to him. And there are a lot of Broncos fans in my mentions telling me that they're going to miss Cody Barton, that they loved Cody Barton, that they were hoping the Broncos would re-sign Cody Barton. I got a tweet here from James Palmer, who quote tweeted the Garofalo breaking news on the deal. James Palmer said, new Titans GM Mike Borgonzi saw Barton twice last year when the Broncos played the Chiefs. I know Kansas City was impressed with a few role guys on Denver's defense. There's a lot of positive things out there. Now, there are some concerns I think you're about to get to, but I did want to say, like, this signing doesn't concern me, even if Cody Barton has some concerns, because you're not overpaying for the player. He's a guy that seems like a really good locker room, like you mentioned, culture guy. Exactly the type of guy that Mike Borgonzi wants to fill this roster with in free agency before the Titans can become what his vision for the team is, which is a draft and develop team. You can't draft and develop 20 starters in one offseason or 20 starters and depth guys in one offseason. So the Titans are going to have to make some of these moves in free agency, and here is one of them.
Yeah, I guess where my concern is, and I get all that, the culture, the leader. I've high football IQ, smart football player, tough as nails, had a broken ankle a couple of years ago, came back from that, didn't miss a beat, all the intangibles, right? I guess where I'm concerned is when you pair him with Kenneth Murray on an on-field perspective, neither of them can really cover at a high level. And I think this team near the end of last year really struggled with in that aspect. They did not have linebackers that can cover. I mean, Ernest Jones wasn't that great at it, but he's probably the best one they had. When they traded him, they're starting Kenneth Murray and Jack Gibbons. Neither of them could cover. I see a bit of a similar duo here, I think, in Kenneth Murray and Cody. I think Cody Barton's a slightly older, more experienced, maybe smarter, higher football IQ Jack Gibbons type of player. So Pro Football Focus last year, he had a 79.9 run stopping grade. No surprise there. He's a tackle machine, makes a lot of plays in the front seven. Well, in coverage, he had a 54.9. They credit him with allowing 48 catches on 56 targets for 524 yards and 2 touchdowns. Probably not a great coverage player. 6'7" year linebacker, wasn't super athletic coming out of college. Not easy to, unfortunately, a little bit easy to put together. He's probably not a great coverage backer, right? Like that's not the feel that I get from this signing. When you pair that with Kenneth Murray, it concerns me a little bit. They don't have anyone on the roster that can do it, right? It's not Jack Gibbons. Well, by the way, what does this say? Adding another $7 million linebacker. Gibbons is coming off an injury, but what does it say about Cedric Gray and James Williams, right? Borgonzi, not the GM that drafted them. Probably not a ton of faith that they're developing into much. I mean, if Gibbons gets healthy to start the year, he's probably linebacker 3. I mean, I don't know, again, what that says about Gray. Gray was a 3rd-round pick last year. Like that's when you're drafting that at a non-premium position. Look at all they've invested in linebacker recently between Murray and Barton, those 2 picks. So not great. And again, I mean, Borgonzi doesn't get the fault of the previous GM who did all those other things last offseason, but doesn't say a lot about his opinion of what he's inheriting, I think, at inside linebacker. So I'll close off by saying I think, it makes a lot of sense from a culture, locker room perspective, football IQ. He's going to help bring the young guys along. There will be a lot of good that Cody Barton does. I just have a couple concerns with the pairing here. I wish the skill sets were a little bit different between the 2 projected starters.
Well, there is also a chance, that his role becomes early down guy, and like more of a pass rushing guy on passing downs, similar to Kenneth Murray, maybe a little duplicative of Kenneth Murray, but as a run stopper,
covering.
As a tackler, well, Otis Reese, Chance Campbell are still on the roster. Otis Reese, I mean, I'm not going to confuse Otis Reese with like a shutdown coverage linebacker, but he's had some good moments in coverage. Chance Campbell's an extremely athletic guy. You'd think, if he gets his technique down, that could translate to being a somewhat dependable.
If he stays healthy. Chance Campbell hasn't been able to stay healthy.
True,
right, at all. Like he's multiple season-ending injuries.
Ultimately, though, like the rub is there are so few linebackers in the NFL who are good at cover. There's like 6 guys in the entire league that can cover at a rate that would make you feel comfortable. I mean, there's a reason that some of these tight ends put up insane numbers in these mismatches, and that there's a handful of guys who are just absolutely elite at the position, and that it's so hard in fantasy football to find a good tight end because a random guy pops off every week for 50 yards and a touchdown, because they're all playing against teams that don't have good coverage backers. And the Titans are going to have to cover those kind of positions with scheme, not with individual one-on-one man-to-man coverage with their linebackers. Some random stats that Zach Lyons shared with us. Cody Barton allowed the 10th highest reception rate and a very high passer rating, 102.7 last year. Not good. But he had the 2nd lowest missed tackle rate of all linebackers last year. He's he's kind of average in a lot of other categories, but doesn't miss a lot of tackles, and is a reliable leader type guy. Is going to get beat in coverage from time to time. Did have 2 interceptions last year, although I saw the plays, those 2 interceptions floating on Twitter, and it looked sort of like the quarterback on the play threw the ball right to him. So you can't really give him too much credit. But if you look at his grades, overall defense grade 66.1, it's about average. Pass rush grade 62.5, about average. Run defense grade 79.9, 28th out of 189 linebackers. That is a good run defense grade. Coverage grade 54.9, a little below average, 117 out of 189 linebackers. But is he going to get beaten coverage if you have to use him there from time to time? Maybe so, but I mean, that's sort of what you get when you buy a free agent linebacker for 3 years, $21 million. Like, There's no good free agent linebacker who's going to come in and be amazing in coverage, except for maybe Dre Greenlaw if he gets back to full health, after what happened to him in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So any final thoughts on Cody Barton before we sign off until the next Titans signing?
No, like I said, I think once we get to know the guy, you'll probably see the vision a bit better than you do now in terms of the culture and the locker room and the experience and the veteran leadership and all that stuff that Mike Morganzi's kind of beat over the head with what he's looking for in free agency. So I think you'll get it a bit more. But again, I've got some reservations about what this partnership looks like in a pass-happy league.
Yeah, and we will see. All right, I will say, last thought. It's always telling what fans of the team that he most recently played for say. Dan
Broncos
Moore Jr., Steelers fans hated him. Is that scary for Titans fans? Absolutely it is. But Broncos fans absolutely loved Cody Barton. So give and take, give and take. All right, that'll do it for this one. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next emergency pod when the Titans sign somebody else. Give this video a thumbs up, like, drop a comment below, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Until then, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.